Hey everyone, this is GKCS. Today we have Aman Barnwal with us. Aman is a software engineer and he's working at PayPal currently. Also, he's from NIT Trichy, right, Aman?
Yeah.
Awesome. So the agenda of today's talk is to actually ask Aman about how he prepared for his system design interviews, what was the journey like, and to maybe find some generalizations for the common problems that people face. Like, how do you start with system design, or how do you start with, let's say, coding, or in general, your journey as a college student to a software engineer. So welcome, Aman, and thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Gaurav, for inviting me to your session.
In your college interviews, what was it like?
Yeah, so I prepared for both coding interview and system design round for my campus placement. For me, luckily, we had a coding paper round, and it will probably vary from the 45 minutes to 1.5 hour. Then probably we will have around 2 to 3 round of DSA, along with one manager round and along with one HR discussion at the last.
2 to 3 rounds of DSA, no system design rounds, and there comes which you're saying is the hiring manager round. So this is interesting. Coding rounds, I think most of us are aware what happens. You just get a coding problem and then you try to solve it. You might think of test cases and there's some subjectivity there. But the manager round, what's it like? Like, maybe you're not comfortable telling us the exact question, but what was it like? And did you prepare for it?
Yeah, so I just sat down and I recall all my experiences which I had during the internship which I had done, during all the hackathon and competitive programming contest which I have participated on, and all the project which I have done personally. And it is basically a scenario based round where you are being asked some scenario based questions. So let's say, tell me a time when you had a difficulty in solving this problem, or tell me a time when you are given just a stipulated amount of time and you need to solve the problem. How did you overcome that situation? So it is basically a situation based on where we need to answer the question based upon our experience and learnings.
Okay, and do you think it was useful? Like, what do you think was being measured here? Do you think the person was trying to find out, what were they trying to find out?
Yeah, so like I have also given the interviews for other companies in off-campus placement. So here, let's say if I'm a hiring manager and I want to hire a candidate, then I will say whether this candidate is a perfect fit for the culture of our company or not, which is the most important thing, and whether I want to work with this candidate or not, whether he's able to work in a team or not. So yeah.
Okay. So roughly, can they work in a team? Do I want to work with this kind of person? You also mentioned hackathons. So in hackathons, there's different types of behaviors which are seen, like, okay, this happened, then I did this. Do you think there were these questions, were they scenario based, or were they saying that you speak, I will listen? What was it like?
In some hiring manager round, it was more based on scenario plus project which I had done. In some hiring manager round, we will also discuss about the project in the team which I am planning to join. So let's say I'm planning to join the compliance team of PayPal. Then we will discuss about the team, the technical framework, the project, etc. So it's quite a subjective round where not a particular specific kind of question is supposed to be asked. We were even grilled upon some coding question. We were even grilled upon some system design question, not on a depth level, but on a higher level.
Okay, that's interesting. So you were asked on coding. So the coding rounds, again, to think of it, like, in general, you are obviously really good at coding. You have cleared again and again the coding rounds, which means that the chance of a false positive is like nothing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're done it for multiple companies, it becomes ridiculously low for being a false positive. As for system design, what was the kind of question which was asked? Were you asked a question like design Twitter, or was it like something more closer to real life college kind of thing? Like, let's say you need to, I don't know, design a calculator or something like that. What was it like?
Yeah, so I guess in the last year, I was preparing for system design round. Even I started preparing from the third year. But I just watched your video, the famous system design playlist of Gaurav, and one more channel of Tech Dummies by Narendra.
Yes.
But after I got the first job, and then I was planning to switch to other company, then I seriously started preparing for system design. But there is an issue. We do have the abundance of resources. Like we do have the multiple pet course, we do have a multiple YouTube channel, we do have a multiple engineering blogs. So I took a Excel sheet. I noted down all the resources which I wanted to prepare from. And
Mhm.
first I completed your playlist. Then I went to Tech Damage by Narendra Ji. I revised it again. Then I went to also the System Expert by Clement. I watched all the videos because system design preparation is quite open-ended subject. We do not know what is the right or wrong answer. So I wanted to just make sure the preparation I am doing for system design should be complete. I do
Amazing.
not want to miss out on anything. Even I went through one GitHub repo which is done primer, which is quite famous one. I went
Yeah.
through two books. The first one is DDIA. However, I'm not able to complete the whole book. It is quite, difficult for me to complete in 1 year. So
It's a yeah.
so I revised it once, the designing data intensive application, and one more book which is System Data Interview by Alexio, and one more course which is Grokking the System Design by Educative.io. So
My
I
God.
went through these many resources in the I guess 8 to 9 months, and then I was confident enough to give the system data interview at any product company. I gave the round in Google London. I gave the system data round for Facebook London for E4 position, I guess some months ago. So yeah,
Wow. Wow. So you have like you have done a very intense preparation. You have gone through multiple sources, which is the best thing. Um, I'm actually wow. You read two books. Okay, you didn't finish designing data intensive applications, but when you get the time, you'll finish that. It's a great book. I really
yeah,
like it.
exactly.
Recommend it to
It
everybody.
is considered to be the Bible of the system design.
Yeah, Martin Klepman, guys, if you're looking for the book, you can head to the description below. I've been promoting it since the time I got to know about it, since the time I actually read it. So yeah, it's an amazing book. He's also got, I think, a bunch of free lectures in Cambridge University or somewhere he's teaching. He has a playlist.
Yeah,
Maybe we can put that in the description also. The best thing about this is that because system design is a little subjective, this will help you understand what different people think of when designing a system. So somebody's thinking about the load balancing part of things. Somebody's thinking about the database part of things. Somebody's thinking about how are these communicating. That's really interesting. Although, so Aman, you gave the system design round in these companies. At this experience level, you have graduated about 2 years now.
yeah,
Do they ask system design?
yeah, exactly. Like now the competition is quite huge. Back then in my time, they are just looking at either CP profiles or they are looking at the project which we have done. But now students are doing everything. They are contributing in open source. They are a very good competitive programmer having great profiles at different platforms. They
Mhm.
have done multiple internship, in different reputed companies. So the competition increases exponentially now. So even now, for some company, they're asking the system design round, like the low level or high level. So for Flipkart, we have a machine coding round. For some startups to which I have given the interviews, they have a specific system design interview. So it is quite dependent upon which company I'm applying for or which company I'm targeting for. For MNC, basically for farm, there is no any specific system design round for fresher. But once you went to either L3 or E4 or senior software engineer, you will be probably asked a system design round. But for the startups, you will probably land up in a system design round for sure.
Whoa. So that's a great startups asking system design
Yeah,
more than okay. That's amazing. It kind of makes sense also. I guess system design is more real world than definitely just high very difficult algorithm. So the aptitude test is taken more by larger companies which can afford to have you for a longer time. Okay, that's interesting. You mentioned system design. Like one of the things is the competition is getting tougher and tougher. People are doing contributions in open source, are taking multiple internships. Did you do an internship? And what was that like? Like, did you prepare for that, or did a professor recommend you? What was it like?
yeah. So my journey was quite interesting. I have a triple E major, so I literally prepared for electronics company till my fourth semester. Internship
Okay.
season came in fifth semester. I sat for the first 10 companies, could not able to clear a one, just gave up, and then thinking to switch from the preparing for the software engineering domain. I literally started coding. However, I knew the C++ and basic DSA, but I literally started coding at the end of my fifth semester. It was a quite difficult journey because I just had 6 months. In parallel, I also was applying for the research internship because we have a PPO policy where even if you are able to get an intern in a company, and if you got the PPO, which is pre-placement offer, you're not allowed to sit for any other company for on-campus placement. Because
Yeah.
of which I just left applying for the companies in on-campus for internship season. Then I did the intern in IIIT Hyderabad LTRC lab, where I have worked in the domain of space processing lab. So there we were basically developing the application which is responsible for converting a Indian regional language from to another. So let's say we have a Google Translate. So Google
Uh,
Translate only supports around 11 language. So let's say if I need to convert from Gujarati to Punjabi, there is no
well,
provision, right? So we were working on the same.
so, do you think this rule makes sense? I don't know why they do it. There must be a reason. All colleges do this, so there must be a reason. But I can't think of reason right off the bat. Okay, why do you stop students from applying for companies if they already have one? Okay, because they will sit for all companies and take all the offers.
Exactly.
Okay, but
Even
this
if I'm studying for a company, and
Hmm.
even they will allow me even after getting a PPO to sit for other company. Let's say I got offer from 10 companies, and out of 10 companies I will join just one company. So probably getting offer from other 9 companies and all the hard work which the placement team does will just go into waste. And even probably we will end up in getting a less student placed in a campus.
That is right. Do they have like criteria that this is the let's say company with X amount, company with X plus 5 amount, company with ultra amount? Like to put it mildly, let's say you have one company which is offering 20 lakhs plus, another company which is offering 10 lakhs plus, and the rest of the companies. So anything about 20 lakhs, anything less than 10 lakhs, and in between, three tiers. Is that also there? Like you can take only one of each. Okay, there is that.
It
Okay.
depends upon the college. In my college, there is no any such provision. For some college, let's say if you got a PPO offer from a company which is less than X, whose city is less than X amount, then you will probably end up in sitting for other companies. But it depends upon college to college. In my college, there is no such provision.
Okay. Oh, what do you think? I mean, if the people in NIT Trichy in the placement department are watching, what would you like? Would you like to tell them that, guys? I think you should have a tiered thing also because people would like to definitely after getting placed, they would like to aim higher also. And especially if the delta is very big, then you should let them aim higher. So
Exactly, there should be a tier-based, planning where even if a student get a PP offer and if their CTC is less than X amount, then I guess this is a great suggestion even for them to, make the student sit for other companies if the CTC is low than X amount.
right, right. And it's not like the student is doing it out of fun, right? Of
Yeah,
course, they also want a guarantee. Your effort is being wasted. Don't think of it like that. You are investing your effort if possible. Okay, okay. So if folks, not just in NIT Trichy, obviously all around India, if you're watching this and you're in the placement office, it would be amazing if you could let students sit for multiple placements based on the criteria in terms of just take the pay, just take salary. That's all.
yeah.
And based on that, like allow people to sit for one or two companies at least. Okay, fine. This is interesting. Now, you of course you get system design questions. You talked about low level design. Is there a single place where you can learn all of the basic system design concepts? There are multiple resources that you spoke about, but you started with the playlist on YouTube, which I have. So why do you start with that playlist? Is it easy? Is it the basics? What is it? Or did you get recommended that first? What was it like?
I started my preparation for system design probably in the third year. And we all know back then, whenever it comes to system design, Gaurav is a go-to guy.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so we literally started my preparation with the YouTube playlist, which will probably give me a fair idea of what are the fundamentals of system design, how to approach a system design wrong. So you also have a video of system design for WhatsApp, for Instagram, and for other real life application, which will
Tinder,
probably
yes.
help me a lot in preparing for system design. So yeah, which will also, kickstart my journey in preparation for system design.
Okay, and Aman, do you think system design is, let's say, more practical than the coding rounds that are taken, or do you think that they are also largely aptitude tests? Like, if I asked you that, this person's system design was really good, they are definitely going to be a good engineer. Will you say yes, or will you say 50-50, or will you say no, it has nothing to do with your day-to-day engineering? And again, can you compare that with coding also? Like, if you say this person did an awesome coding round, they're a superb competent programmer. If they join our team, they'll do superbly. So what is it like? How relevant is system design to real world, and how relevant is coding to real world? We'll get the comparison automatically.
Okay, so let's say if I'm applying for the off-campus placement, then obviously for big MNCs, we would have probably 2 to 3 kind of round. The first one is DSA, the second one is system design, and third one is hiring manager, followed by HR discussion round. Even if the position is into ML, or let's say if the position is for the React framework or Spring Boot framework, we are probably not having a specific round for the framework. The reason of this is because even if I'm able to clear the coding round, we should probably prove I have a good problem solving skill. And if I'm able to clear the system design round, we should probably prove, yeah, I'm good at designing big system.
It seems like you're doing problem solving only, technical problem solving. That's
exactly.
That's good. Okay. And you mentioned that, later on this is going to be super helpful. This investment that you're doing on design. When do you think a person should start it? Should they start it in college, afterwards, or as it comes along?
Now the scenario is very different as compared to back then in my time. Even if someone is watching who is just a fresher, or who just went to college in the first year, just explore as many domains as you can in the very first year. So let's say if you wanted to explore in the domain of WebD or Android development, just take a course, complete the course, do some project on the same, because even if you're not doing the project, you do not know which domain interests you the most. And when you went to the third semester, try giving more time to DSA, system design, doing more project, and also the other CS subject. So at the end of the second year, you will probably have a very good resume of having multiple projects, even having a good competitive programming profile. So which will probably help you a lot in landing the good internship, even in getting a placement offer from other companies. So for fresher, giving the time for system design is a must for now.
My God, you're saying first year?
No, I mean, like if you are in fourth year and if you are sitting for placement, then having knowledge of system design is a must.
Okay. So fresher, you mean to say you're a fresh graduate?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is also interesting, because a lot of people who come and ask me that, hey, when should I start with system design? I tell them, if you have started your job, then it's a good time. Before that, you can do it for fun. But you would say that no, it's not just fun, it's necessary.
Yeah, low-level design is one of the round which is probably being asked in, I guess, 50% of the company.
So what's a low-level design round like? Like, what happens in it?
Okay, so in low-level design, we are being asked, let's say, design make metric. So we are probably do coding using object-oriented programming, and we are probably using the APIs and function we are going to write. What all function we need to have, what all feature we need to have in MMT, and we will probably just do coding using the object-oriented programming concept.
Okay, so things like solid principles.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then generally refactoring is useful. So I guess if you're watching this, we will put the links in the description where you can see design patterns, solid principles. There are some useful links for that also. Okay, at InterviewReady, I think we have a little more advanced concepts like concurrency, thread assignment, which, I mean, I don't know, you're saying life is getting tougher and tougher. So I don't know whether it's for SD2s and up, right? I don't think it's still for SD1. You don't ask concurrency or thread assignment for SD1, right?
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to system design, there are basic, functionality or terminologies which are being probably asked. So let's say, what is a load balancer? Or what will you do if you have the single point of failure? The things like this. But it is quite debatable. It depends upon the company to company. Even for some early stage startup, they do not want to, probably train and wait because of funding. So they want us to be very good at system design. Like that's my experience when I was applying for off-campus placement.
So that is quite interesting. You're saying that startups are more and more and more practical, which is true even in InterviewReady. When we hire people, that time we never ask them that here's a DSA round or here's a system design round, design Tinder or design Twitter or something. We need people who are going to be able to work tomorrow. So the rounds are like, okay, here's something like a practical question. How are you going to solve it? And then we see how they do it. So interesting. Okay, this OOPS concepts we spoke about. Some of the links over there. Did you practice it anywhere? Did you read about it, or were you also practicing it in some platform?
I read one book which is, I guess, Head First Design Pattern for OOPS, which is probably a very good book. It has a quite good amount of humor. So I really like reading the book, and I used to give the mock to my friends even on Pramp or to my friend for the LLD round, which have probably helped me a lot in brushing my concept for LLD.
Interesting. I think you did this a while back. You probably didn't have the mock interview portal at InterviewReady, which is also quite interesting.
Yeah.
You can schedule a low-level design round, go over there, and there's a feedback place that you can write your code, you can compile it. You can also give a system design round. You can actually draw on it. So most of the collabs now are all happening over there only because I feel comfortable. Let's do a live round there.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, that's interesting. Okay, we can practice there. Low-level design, we'll put the links. Head First, you said is a good book. It's got good humor. I think throughout for most things, everywhere. Head First, make sure that there is some humor. There's another one, Refactoring Guru. He's also pretty good. I don't know whether there's much humor there, but he's got good graphics and images to set this up. Okay. Now, finally, you have, let's say, an LLD question, a low-level design question. People have this thing that, okay, if it's a coding question, there is space complexity, time complexity. In a low-level design question, how do you know you have done well?
Okay, it is quite open-ended topic, I would say, because I do not have experience of setting or seeing from the interviewer side. But let's say if I need to design make metric, so first I will ask the requirement, because for some interview the LLD round is of 3 hours. For some interview the LLD round is of 1 hour, and for some company it is of 45 minutes. So we need to keep in mind before taking the requirement whether we are able to design or whether we are able to implement all the feature for the given system or for the given question or not. Once you and the interviewer are confident about the requirement, these are the requirement or these are the feature which you want to implement in the coming 45 minutes interview, then we will probably have a discussion and we will probably code it out and using the solid principle and using the other concept. And obviously the interviewer will be very helpful even if we will stuck at some place. So
okay, that's interesting. So let's talk about red flags and green flags in this low-level design round. Like for me personally, whenever I have taken a system design round, because it's a subjective thing, of course you feel like this person did well and that person did well. The way that I have tried to objectively score people is by giving, let's say, green flags or something like Aman was writing the code. He saw that 3 places had the same kind of code. He just converted it. He just put it in a single function and made a parameter there. That's a green flag for me. Aman makes sure that the variables make sense before he writes the code. Also, Aman draws and makes sure that this class will interact with this class. And instead of taking half an hour coding, he takes 15 minutes coding and 10 minutes just designing things in his mind.
UML diagram and other diagram, etc.
Right. And the red flags are things like Aman named his variable ABC, or Aman was like, okay, I'll think about it when I come over there. And then Aman was like, okay, fine, this will inherit this will inherit that, and you're just doing inheritance everywhere because he heard inheritance is useful. Or he says key, okay, I'm going to keep a foreign key over here or something like that. Those things scare me. Like I go, why? Why do you need it? Unless you can give a reason. So, okay. That's interesting. You have actually been through this stuff at this age itself. Life is getting tougher every day, right?
Exactly.
I had my first, I think, low-level design round when I was, when did I have it? I probably was 5 years experienced for the first time, because before that it was just coding round. Like simple coding round. Yeah.
Yeah, things are really getting difficult now because even during the pandemic, a lot of YouTubers came. And even if you, like, let's say if I am in a third year of college and I need to know what is the interview experience looks like in Google or in Microsoft, then I need to go to seniors, right? But now it is just a one click away. Even if you just search on YouTube, interview experience of Microsoft, you will probably end up landing in 10 to 15 videos. Same with the different topics of system design and DS, etc. So people are learning a lot during the pandemic, even from the YouTube, and the resources are abundant. Even which will probably the students end up in a lot of confusion, which resources to choose from, or which resources to learn in order to get a deep understanding of a topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think, especially component programming, the weight that component programming had, or the use that component programming had, is the same? Do you think it's even more? Do you think it's less? Like, this is of course an opinion. This is subjective. We are just trying to figure out. But is component programming still as sought after as it was 2 or 3 years ago? Because to put it honestly, people cheat.
Yeah.
People cheat a lot. CodeChef rating,
Yeah.
the long contest is like a joke, right? The short contest is still there. There are people in the long contest who are actually passionate about the problems and doing the problems, right? It's a joke not because they are working hard. It's a joke because I guess the platform, it is impossible to stop people from cheating. And people just cheat like crazy. So now the value is just gone. So that's my personal opinion. But do you also feel the same, or do you feel like, no, that's not true? In fact, even now, computer programming is highly relevant when it comes to jobs. What's it like?
So having a good CP profile will probably help you in getting a call from the recruiter in off-campus placement. But obviously, cheatings are going on in long context of Coursera. But even in some interview round, for example, let's say the example of direct try, or let's say the example of coordination, they will probably end up asking the code forces, D or E kind of question. But for cracking a company, for cracking a coding interview at a product-based company, it is not a compulsory. It's not a compulsion whether I need to do the CP or not. Doing lead code is quite enough to crack any company.
Okay. So there's this mountain, and they want to check you for fitness. And there are people who are summiting the mountain, and there are also people who are like going up to base camp, which is pretty good. Pretty good is good enough, and then they're testing you for other competencies also. They are testing your behavioral skills. They are testing your system design skills. They are testing whether you are able to think of classes and all low-level design. Okay, that is interesting. I guess that's always going to happen. Companies will always find a way to test people. If you game a system, then they will just move out of that system. They're not going to spend 20, 30 lakhs on a person who's just gamed the system. They're going to move out.
Even if you cheat in a coding interview, let's say even if you cheat in a coding platform, let's say Coursera, and you get a call from the recruiter. But in the interview round, it depends how you are performing in the interview. Right?
So do you think the people are not able to perform, like the guys who cheat?
Exactly. Even if a people is cheating in a coding platform, then obviously they are not giving much more attention in learning. Or in order to have a good problem solving skill, you need to solve by yourself. And cheating probably will end up in screwing your interview at the end.
This is the thing. There's this survivor bias, like people who actually clear the interviews all say computer programming is useful, algorithms are useful, cheating will screw you up. And nobody says that cheating is fine, dude. I did it. I got into my company. Because I guess they don't clear their interviews. It's not fluke. It's not I will cheat and ek bar call aa jaye, then I will prove my mettle. Like, you can't.
Exactly.
That's the reason why you have been cheating for so long. And you have also built a habit by then it's like waking up early in the morning or working out. You're going to get screwed eventually because तुम्हारा habit ही नहीं है तो तुम उधर भी जाके वही करोगे. Like, you'll just give up instead of pushing. So that's interesting. All right. Okay, Aman. So final question from my side. If you have to, let's say, advise someone who's 1 year in the software engineering career, and you have to advise them about, this is something that you want to learn. So would you say that would be more on designing systems or behavioral things? and how should they go ahead and do that?
Okay, so if you are having a 1 year of experience in a company, then try to understand how, let's say if you're working on an application, do not only rely on the story or the task which you were being given. Try to understand the product from a big picture, which will probably help you in understanding how the what is the architecture behind the product, how different components are interacting with each other, which will probably help you in learning system design too, which will probably end up in becoming a good software engineer rather than completing tasks or stories.
Okay. So you're basically moving away from being a coder to being an engineer who's actually solving the problem, the real problem, the product's problem.
Not exactly, but even
Okay.
if you are good at coding, try to analyze the product from a high picture.
Okay. So got it. You're no. I mean, let me just clarify. Are you saying that looking at the product from a higher picture lets you understand what the real problem is?
Yeah.
To solve it better. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's great, Aman. That's a short piece of advice. I think that's a very, very impactful piece of advice. Also, that's why. Thank you so much for coming. Do let us know, guys, if you have any doubts or suggestions. You can let us know in the comments. Aman is available on LinkedIn, and his social media platforms will be posted in the description if you want to connect with him. Aman is also an InterviewReady customer. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the interesting thing about this is that I think all of us agree that there are many sources for system design at different levels. Maybe you want to read different things, but yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Aman, for coming and making this possible. See you. Bye bye.
Thanks a lot, Gaurav, for having me.